Many women, when they go to a gynecological consultation or when they do a master health checkup, they've been told to have hernia. If you consider your abdomen like a cylinder, you have two cylinders. You have an outer cylinder and you have an inner cylinder. The outer cylinder is made up of skin. Between the outer and the inner cylinder, you have fat deposit. So that is called subcutaneous fat. The wall of the outer cylinder can expand because of aging, multiple pregnancy, massive weight loss, etc. Have you been told that you have hernia and you've also been thinking about tummy tuck? Then you should watch this video till the end. Namaskaram, this is Dr. Jayanthi Ravindran, a board certified plastic surgeon and founder of Tamiralife. Many women, when they go to a gynecological consultation or when they do a master health checkup, they've been told to have hernia. So you could be told that you have a hernia through your navel, which is called the umbilical hernia, or you have a hernia just above the umbilicus, which is called a para-umbilical or a epigastric hernia. So what is this hernia? So let me try to explain this to you in simple terms. If you consider your abdomen like a cylinder, you have two cylinders. You have an outer cylinder and you have an inner cylinder. The outer cylinder is made up of skin, which is the outer layer, and between the outer and the inner cylinder, you have fat deposit. So that is called subcutaneous fat. And let's look at the inner cylinder. Let's say from your underbreast to the hair-bearing pubic area. Consider this to be a cylinder. The wall of the inner cylinder is formed by your abdominal wall muscles and sheath. And inside this inner cylinder, you have a sac which is called the peritoneum. And inside the peritoneum, you have all the important major organs. Your stomach, intestine, uterus, bladder, etc. Now, when you have a fat deposit between the outer and inner cylinder, that is called subcutaneous fat. If it is minimal, can be removed or lysed by non-surgical procedures. And if it's more, we remove it through liposuction. The wall of the outer cylinder can expand because of aging, multiple pregnancy, massive weight loss, etc. The wall of the inner cylinder also can lose its tonicity, or it can become loose because of pregnancy, cesarean section, because it's formed by muscles and sheath. So especially after multiple cesarean section, sometimes after vigorous exercise, if the muscle tone is not good, you had some, we call what is called diastasis recti. So this wall of the inner cylinder in the front is actually walled by what we call rectus muscle. That's what contributes to the six-pack. Now if this rectus muscle, they are supposed to be together in the midline, in the front of this wall, and during a cesarean section you cut this muscle, and if it loses its nerve supply or it loses its tone, it moves apart. That is called diastasis recti. Now your navel is a natural defect in the center between these two muscles, and if they move apart, that defect gets enlarged, and that's why you have hernia through your navel. And if this muscle moves apart and the sheath become very thin, you can have hernia. Or what is hernia? So it is the protruding of the sac below this inner cylinder through a defect in the wall of the inner cylinder. That's what is called a hernia. So if you've been told that you have a hernia, it can be repaired, yes, of course, through laparoscopy. That is, the doctors put keyholes, camera, and they actually put between the sac inside your inner cylinder and the wall of the inner cylinder, you can put a mesh through the laparoscope, and that is what is a mesh repair through laparoscope for a hernia. So you're putting a mesh between your sac and the wall, inner cylinder wall. Now, as a plastic surgeon, when we combine the hernia repair with the tummy tuck, how do we approach this? So we make an incision just below your cesarean section incision, so that scar is also removed. And before doing this, we do a liposuction to remove the fat between the outer and the inner cylinder. Then we elevate the whole wall of the outer cylinder, and then you see the wall of the inner cylinder. Once you see the wall of the inner cylinder, if there are hernia, if we see the sac below the wall of the inner cylinder coming out through this, we will actually open it, close all of that, and then we tighten the wall of the inner cylinder from under your breast all the way down up to your pubic area, so that it forms a very strong layer so that you don't get hernia in future. Once this is done, the extra skin of the outer cylinder is pulled all the way down, and that is also removed. So this way, if you have a hernia, umbilical hernia or an epigastric hernia, and you also have a protuberant or a saggy abdomen, tummy tuck can be combined with umbilical or a epigastric hernia. So you could do both of this in the same session. Now sometimes there are women who also have some uterine problem and they want to do hysterectomy, or their gynecologist have advised hysterectomy, and that could also be combined during this procedure. So how we handle that is, first we do the liposuction of the subcutaneous fat, and then we open the wall of the outer cylinder, and then we expose the wall of the inner cylinder and hand it over to the gynecologist, who will come and open the wall of the inner cylinder and correct if you want any correction to be done, or a tubal ligation or a hysterectomy to be done. They finish. After they finish, then we come back and reinforce the wall of the inner cylinder from your breast to the pubic area, and then remove all the extra skin and give a good contour to your abdomen. So if you have been told to have an umbilical hernia or epigastric hernia, leave your request or your concern in the comment section below. Also leave your number and we'll reach out to you. What is the result that you should expect from laser? If you do laser hair removal, how many sessions you should do? Does it mean that after you do that machine, that number of sessions, that throughout your life you will have no hair at all? So what is it?
3 milestones in a woman's life can change that. First is menarche, when the hairs are reduced due to the hormonal influence. Second is after pregnancy, and third is after menopause.
Is laser hair removal permanent or laser hair reduction permanent? Because everybody wants to hear this word permanent.
Yes.